happy last week of school. I am so excited. I am on my way to school right now, and when I get there, I will probably have a couple students in my room. I normally don't, but this is exam week, so there will be like 2 students taking their exam first period today. I am now running late because I'm stuck behind a train. Okay, first period is over now. I had 2 students in here to take an exam, which they finished really quickly. So then I decided that we were just gonna watch the Titanic. I did get a couple of things crossed off. I did get a couple of things marked off from my checklist. So I have 2 sticky notes of a to-do list that I need to finish by Wednesday. So today we have exams for periods 1 through 4, tomorrow is for periods 5 through 8, and then Wednesday is the teacher work day. I'm hoping to have everything pretty much finished by the end of the day tomorrow. I've been really excited to vlog this last week of school because the last week of school there are so many things that aren't teaching content that still is a part of teaching that I didn't even realize or think of. So I will show you what I did last period and then talk about some things for next year, and then my next task is to start taking down some decor, and then while I do that I'm gonna keep watching Titanic. 2 things that I did last period. First, we have to create an inventory of all of the furniture in our room because then over the summer it will be taken out into the hallway. And so I saved my list from last year. I have a folder in my Google Drive called end of year items. So I did get a couple of new things last year, so I just added those to my inventory list and I'm gonna leave that on the board. And then next item, after they move all the furniture out, you create like a map of how you want your room to look when you come in the next year. So this is what mine looks like. The biggest change for me is my desk is on this side and I'm gonna move it to the other side of the room. I believe that I just used Google Docs and then I just added shapes to it. So then again, I saved this from last year too, and then I just rearranged things. One of the big tasks that I have right now is to remove all of the books from this bookshelf and put them on my counter so that this can be moved so that there is room for my desk. Probably have to reorganize all that later. Okay, that's done. So now I think I'm going to clean out this filing cabinet. It just has a bunch of stuff in it from when I moved into this room. Things that I didn't know if I was allowed to get rid of, but things that I certainly was not going to use. So I'm going to go through the filing cabinet and go through some of the things in my closet, and then after that, then I will start taking decorations down. I have no idea what this is, but no way that I just pulled it out of the filing cabinet. Okay, so this is all the stuff that I'm going to get rid of, and then these are the things I'm going to keep, and I'm just going to divide them. Most of them are like resources or reproducibles, so I'm just going to have a drawer for reading, writing, and grammar. Easy enough. Bell's about to ring, and I don't know if I'll have any students in here next period. If I do, then I do have about 100 personal narratives. We called it the mini memoir to grade, which was my sophomore's final project of the year. So I will work on grading those if there are students in here, and then continue cleaning up when I don't have students. Okay, update. I've had a few kids in every period today, so I mostly have worked on grading. I just ran to the office and picked up my book for the summer. Our principal, he gives us like a list of books and we get to choose one that we can pick up before the summer, so then I'll get to read that this summer. I'm gonna take a break from grading because I have finished like 2.5 periods of memoirs. So let's get everything off of the walls and kind of get everything in an organized, somewhat pile. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with my bulletin boards yet because I have some different ideas for next year, but just in case I don't follow through with those, I'm just gonna take down my pink sign, but all of the other little posters, I'm just gonna keep those up there for now. I pretty much got done everything that I wanted to today. Most of the stuff is cleaned up. I am going to clean out my paper trays, throw everything away before I leave today, and then save everything else for tomorrow. Tomorrow I want to finish grading and doing any other last minute cleaning things. I'll tackle everything else on my to-do list, and that's pretty much it for today. So I will see you again tomorrow. We have 2 days of school left now. Happy Tuesday, guys. It is now the second day that I've been stuck behind a train. I'm pretty sure this hasn't happened all year. So weird that it happens the last week of school.
To go away. That's crazy. You guys want a drink?
End of day update. I had some students in my room every single period today. Even during lunch, I had some students come in and just have lunch up here in my room, so I couldn't film it all today, which is fine because there wasn't really a lot to film anyway. I graded like 80 memoirs and then like 25 final projects for my advanced freshmen. I did want to talk about those a little bit to explain like what my final exam looked like. So for my sophomores, they take the state test in April. My school allows an exemption for students who pass their state test. So I only had about 6 or 7 sophomores who had to take the state test or who had to take a final exam for me. So I just created a final test that went with the memoir that we read in the 4th quarter. That was the final exam. After we read the memoir, then we move into our last writing assignment for the year, which is my favorite writing assignment, and I call it the mini memoir. It's just a personal narrative, and the students just choose one thing about their life that they can write about. I love this project. It is my favorite project of the whole year. I hate that we have to wait until the end of the year to do it because I just view students so much differently when I read some of the things that they've dealt with in their life. They just write so beautifully. It is the best project to end the year on. My advanced freshmen, their project this year took place of the final exam, so we had a couple of weeks worth of like a monster unit, so we spent a couple of weeks digging into like literature and pop culture, different monsters. And for the final project, they had a list of like 25 monsters. Each student chose one. They did a whole research project on it and made a presentation slideshow, turned that in. That's what I graded for their final exams. So all of my grading for the school year is finished. The grade book is finalized. I feel so good. I worked on that all day long. Anyway, before I go, because the day's almost over, we get about an hour of like planning time. At this point, I have like a little over 10 minutes left, but I did want to show one thing that I do that helps me get ready for next year, and then tomorrow's going to be mostly planning for the first week of school. Anyway, I have a daily and sub binder. So in this binder, I keep sub instructions, class rosters, seating charts, daily attendance sheets for the sub to use. I also keep a printed copy of the learning standards in the back of the binder. And then one thing that I started last year, because last year was my first year, which was really helpful this year, is I took my lesson plans from this year, which were all digital, and I printed all of them off, and then I keep them in the back. This really helped me for planning this year because I could just work digitally and then look back at the paper plans from last year and kind of use that as a guide for like timing and seeing how long things took. So my lesson plans look like this, except normally I do this on Google Docs. I'm going to hole punch these and put them in the binder, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and replace or like throw last year's plans away. Alright, that's all I really have for today, so I will see everyone back tomorrow for the last day of school. Good morning, everyone. Happy last day of school. I am so excited. I'm on my way to school now, but first I'm going to stop and pick up some donuts for my fellow teacher pals. I am at school. You guys saw that I got the donuts, and now I'm going to go downstairs for a meeting, and I'm hoping it doesn't last more than like 30 minutes. I don't know. I have no idea how long it'll last, but I'm gonna go to the meeting, and then when I come up, I'm gonna start figuring out how many students I have, like how many sophomores, how many freshmen, so I can start making my copies for next year and finish my first day of school plans very extensively, and then get my outline for like the first week. Meeting is over. I'm back in my classroom now, and I marked a couple extra things off my list. I had some things to turn into the office. And then, like I said, the last thing that I need to do is kind of look at my class list, figure out how many students I have in each section that I teach, so that I can make copies of my syllabus for next year and copies of my first day activities. And then I need to look at what we're doing for the whole first week. I'm gonna kind of multitask while I do this, and I'm gonna take this off. But I'm going to update my binder, some of my binder things while I do this. I'm gonna throw away my old schedules. A few weeks ago, I made copies of my schedule for next year, so I also had time to have them laminated so I could put it in my binder. Next year, I'm teaching all of the same things that I taught this year and last year. So I have one section of advanced freshman English. I have two sections of advanced sophomore English, which is different. This is the first time that I've had more than one section of that, so I'm pretty excited. And one of the sections is my last period of the day, and I am so excited. I'm so happy to have an advanced class at the end of the day. They've always been like in the morning. I threw away my class rosters from this year, and I already have printed my class list for next year. Obviously, some things could change before the beginning of the school year, and even the first like 2 weeks, things could change around, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the new copies of next year's in my binder, and then I'll reprint them after the first couple weeks of school. Okay, so I have my numbers, and for my total advanced freshman class, I'm gonna have 17. I'll have 52 students taking my standard sophomore English, and I'll have 32 students taking my advanced sophomore English. So I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna go ahead and use those numbers to make my copies for my advanced freshmen and my standard sophomores. I am going to have them do this investigate the teacher activity on the first day of school. On the first day of school, there's only 15-minute classes, so can't do something that takes a lot of time, so I'll make copies of this. For my advanced sophomore class, a lot of them I already had as students because they took my advanced freshman class. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna make bingo cards, and then in each box they're gonna put something that represents them or something that they like to do, something that interests them. And what we will do, I will have one as well. We will all go around the room, and every time you find someone that has a similar interest as you, you put their name in the box. And then the first person that fills up, you know, a bingo, will get a prize. All right, let's run to the copy machine for the last time of the school year. Okay, all of my copies are made and I'm ready to leave for the day. So I'm gonna go over this kind of quickly and then I am out for the school year. First, I decided not to make copies of my syllabus just in case I decide to change things over the summer, like our reading materials. Here's what the bingo cards look like. I found these on Teachers Pay Teachers, so this is what I'll be doing on day one with my advanced sophomores. And then here's the Investigate the Teacher for my advanced freshmen and standard sophomores. So all those copies are made. I'll just put them in my cart so that they're ready to go for the first day. We do have a work day before we have our normal first school day, so I'll be able to work on some other things. One other thing that I did that I didn't show was archiving my Google Classroom classes. I just returned all of the work to students and then archived the classes, and then I can make the copies of the classrooms next year during that first teacher work day. But that is it. The only thing left to do is clear the stuff off of my desk, and after that I'll be leaving. Thank you guys for coming along with me this week. It has been a great last week of school. Most of my students I saw for the last time for the summer on Friday, in which I cried like a baby. And now this week has just been more excitement because most of the students are gone anyway. And so we were past the sadness, and now I'm super, super excited. So now it's time to finish clearing off my desk. I might have to make 2 trips to my car, and then it is officially summertime. I think that is everything. I'm kind of sad. Okay, bye everyone. I hope you have the best summer ever.